I can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free.
What's up, FT fan? Happy Friday. Great shirt, Frazier. My fave. One of my faves. BattleTerritoryShop.com. Thank you. Twinsies. Superman over here.
Except Todd, yours is probably an extra large, and Todd's is a small.
Extra small for me. Yeah.
They're
Not
comfortable
really.
enough. It's all right. They're too comfortable. It don't matter what size, Scott.
Yeah. It's like I don't even know I'm wearing it.
Thank God you are
BattleTerritoryShop.com
wearing
if you want it. As opposed to nothing.
Yes.
Actually, one of the guys we're going to talk to today often does shirtless interviews.
So please don't tell me you're going to take your shirt
I'm
off.
definitely not going to. It's not my
Remember that
style.
one time we
Do
showed you with your shirt off and everyone went crazy?
Oh, the picture?
Yeah. When you were in your modeling days?
Yeah. The good old days. The good old days when I was a sunglasses model. All right. So first off, thank you, AJ, to the rescue. Cam Maven was scheduled for today, but the hurricane said, no thanks, North Carolina.
North Carolina's getting slammed. Georgia.
I didn't realize that.
Like Atlanta got crushed.
Yeah.
I mean, like the hurricane is crushing like the Carolinas right now.
I hope everyone's okay.
Yes, please be safe. And listen to what people say when they say like go inside. Like go inside.
Yes. Don't drive.
Yes.
Please. Yes. Take care of yourself. It's 5 seconds. Okay. And also, if you're watching on YouTube right now, subscribe to the FT YouTube channel. It's only because Derek reminded me. If you want to chat with us. Actually, there's a lot of people that have been saying they watch on Valley Sports and then they chat. You know, they'll drop something, either a comment or a question in the chat, which I'm all for that. That is the best of both worlds. So let's charge the damn mound.
He's charging the mound.
They did it, Todd Father. I mean, a smackdown from the New York Yankees to clinch the American League East over the Baltimore Orioles. A little bittersweet, but not that much for you since you did pick Corbin Burns, and I almost held that as well. But aside from that, the actual division was won. So I think you'll take the one-day L for the clinch, because otherwise, if they lost this game, I mean, they only have to win one more on the weekend. But, you know, it starts to make it a little more annoying. Now they can prepare for the postseason.
Yeah, and they have to prepare because a couple injuries here, a couple guys that aren't really producing on the mound. What are they going to do in left field? So, again, congratulations to the Yankees. Well-deserved. They worked their butt off. Aaron Judge, I mean, just think about if he didn't have that 17-gamer where he didn't hit a home run. Just let's go a third of that. So let's go, 5 home runs? I mean, he'd be at 63 right now. I mean, could be possibly more. Oh, my God. And then Giancarlo Stanton's getting hot at the right time. I know it's only one game, but for him to go, boom on some home runs, that's something that you're going to see in the playoffs. He does well. I mean, listen, when he's comfortable at the plate, he's nice and slow and steady, doesn't try and do too much. That's where the power comes from. The guy can hit, and they're going to need a lot of that. So we're going to try and figure out who they're going to start here and, what they're going to do. It's a feat for them. This is good for the Yankees. Congratulations. This is good for baseball all around.
I mean, unless you don't like the Yankees, it's not good. But there's a lot of those. But let me say this. I know what you mean. No, listen, I work at Fox. Trust me, they want the Yankees in the World
They love
Series.
the Yankees and Dodgers, right?
Oh, if they could get Yankees Dodgers,
It's the dream.
It's the dream matchup.
Yeah.
It's their holy grail.
Mm-hmm.
But let me say this. Burns, the Orioles took Burns out after 5 innings. It was 1-0 when they took Burns out. He's 69 pitches, just probably giving him a rest. But they took him out after 5 innings. And then the game just felt, I mean, Cano came in, Perez came in, and then it was like 7-0, like, bam, game over.
You know what it sounds like? A team that's always looking at tomorrow.
Well, they're good at that, the Orioles.
They are.
But they got to get Burns ready. So they probably said, all right, this is your last start regular season. Rest you up for Tuesday because he's definitely starting game 1 against whoever they play, which right now looks like the Tigers or it's definitely the Tigers or the Royals because Twins we're going to get into. But
yeah,
like, as Ozzie Guillen did one time to the Guardians fans / Indians, they were Indians at the time with the mascot when he went like this. The Twins, I mean, oh man, I'm
brutal.
So sorry for Twins fans.
Brutal. And yes, we will get to them a couple segments away from that. So Judge, like you mentioned, is now at 58. He has a chance to get to 60.
Row, right?
5 games in a row.
Yeah. Who hasn't done that? That's easy.
Yeah, no big deal. I mean, he's not going to most likely get to his number from 2022, but he might get close. I mean, he could pop 2 more this weekend.
He could get
60 would be nice. That would be incredible.
Yeah. Him and Jose Ramirez need 2 more homers.
Exactly. With 3 to spare.
I hope they both get it, because that's a feat you can never take away. I think that'd be incredible for sure.
Yeah. Judge has had an insane year. So
and the Yankees are playing there, and we all know Aaron Judge only hits home runs in Yankee Stadium. Is that's what everyone on Twitter says? Aaron Judge didn't play at Yankee Stadium, he would have only 25 homers.
Mm-hmm.
Bull sugar.
True. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Well, just like all the projections had Juan Soto with like low 30s home runs. How'd that go? He's going to finish with what, 42-ish?
Ooh.
I think he's at 41.
Derek said he's taking today off. Judge said maybe.
Today? Okay.
Hangover game.
Right. So Saturday, Sunday he plays
last night.
As they should.
As they should. They won the East. And
Also,
then he gets Skeens on Saturday.
That's fun.
Must-watch TV.
Do you know who he's facing? Heel.
Huh?
Skeens versus Heel.
Well, Skeens got the Rookie of the Year locked up.
No, I'm just saying it's the two hot rookies from this year.
Yeah.
It's fun.
That'd be fun.
It's a good matchup.
It's a really good matchup. I mean, they're not playing for anything either side, but it's still fun. The rookies facing off. So last thing here on the Yanks, let's not forget, I mean, Todd Father, you were covering this team just as much last year as you were this year. A little different. Last year, they didn't make the playoffs, and it was oogly. They were out of it by what, September? Beginning of September, really? Mathematically, I don't care. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they weren't playing for anything for weeks.
Yeah, now come back, 21st AL East division title. I mean, listen, I think it's the most wide open field, if you want the truth. Any one of these teams gets hot at the right time. I don't know. I love the Yankees' chances, but I love everybody else's chances too as well. There are always a couple guys that step up, and it's like, all right, here we go. So, I mean, AJ knows. He's been broadcasting it for a while. He's seen everything, and it's like, yeah, we see the favorites here, but, you know, if we dive deep into this, Scott, are we going to dive into this or what?
We can take a second for this, sure. So the BetMGM futures for the AL favorites have the Yankees at plus 175, by far favored over Houston and Cleveland, who are next, and then the Orioles, and then obviously KC and Detroit are pretty lofty there. But, I mean, we haven't seen chalk much in the past few years, Todd Father.
I think it's Houston again, honestly. You see this, they've just done it over and over. I don't care. Oh, well, it's different coaches, Espada, blah, blah, blah. Espada's a pretty good manager. They've been there before. They have the bullpen, the three-headed monsters they have back there with Brayu, Hader, and
Presley.
Oh, my God. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I just feel like they just do it. You know, they'll win those 4-1 games all of a sudden. They'll win that, that ugly 3-2 game because they got the bullpen to hold it down. So I think if the Yankees finally find a way to beat them, which they haven't, I've been a part of it, it stinks. I see those guys again, climbing, getting up top.
Yep.
All right. Here's my question for you two. You're talking about the Astros, right? The Astros have to play an extra round, which they haven't had to do in a while. But right now they're locked in to play Detroit and then the Guardians. They're going to be favored against Detroit. I mean, they're going to get Skubal more than likely game one, unless he pitches on Sunday, which Detroit will do everything in their power not to have him pitch on Sunday.
Right.
Save him, right? And then the Guardians, the Astros would be favored over the Guardians, right?
No doubt.
Okay. And then the Yankees are going to get the Royals or the Orioles. So why did Corbin Burns just throw 5 innings? Because guess who he could get next time?
Thanks.
The Yankees.
Yeah.
So they're they know what these guys, those cutters, right?
But limit the looks.
Limit the looks.
So they documented it well in the broadcast, and I read an article about this. Burns got rocked in August, and then he's been money again in September. And the cutter was, they said, getting too similar to looking like a flat 4-seam fastball.
Yeah, last night they had depth.
He hung
the
one
one
to
to
tight
Stanton.
in August, like too tight.
Yeah, he hung the one to Stanton that he hit for the home run. But other than that, I mean, he was dominant, especially the lefties. He was cutting those lefties up for the Yankees. I mean, Rizzo, Dominguez, Martian, all those. By the way, this is way off topic. Todd, what's Dominguez's nickname?
Yeah, the Martian.
Okay, so yesterday I was watching the show on MLB Central, and they do the scribble thing, and they whoever it was Ripken, DeRosa, Chahadi, and Meredith Marakovitz, who works for the Yankees.
Yep.
And someone drew the Martian And I think Lauren Drew and Meredith was like, oh, Jason Dominguez. And Billy Ripken or one of them was like, I didn't know that was his nickname. Maybe D-Row? I don't think it was D-Row. They were like, Alien? How did you get Jason Dominguez out of Alien?
Because there's a difference between like the TV community and then the like digital social and all. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it was just, I was like, he's been called this for like 4 years now.
Oh yeah, everyone calls him that.
Everyone
calls him that.
Bats and gloves and everything with it on it.
I mean, people refer to him as Martian as his first name, essentially. They'll be like, oh, did you see Martian last night?
Yeah.
Like, it's very common.
No, I know. It was just interesting to me that they didn't know that.
There's a big separation between traditional TV and like the world we're living in. It's crazy. So like some of the stuff that we catch online, I mean, because I was there, right, in the past, like you just completely gloss over or miss. So that's probably part of it. But that's a tough nickname to miss because that one hits. Everyone calls him that.
Yeah, and he's got the, like the old Martians they used to show. He's got like the smaller ears, so it kind of, I mean, it fits. Like remember back when we were kids, and the Martians would have like the little tiny ears with the big.
Yeah.
So, I mean, exactly.
I love it. All right, so we're going to talk A's next. We'll get to the Dodgers clincher later, but quick break, and then Ann Killion, who was at the game yesterday and is a columnist for the San Francisco Chronicle, will join us on FT. FT fam, this episode is presented by Navage. If you're dealing with a little congestion from, I would say, allergies. Oh, actually, you're the perfect guy for this, right? Fall hits and you start getting crushed.
I need right here
to
be as loose as possible. And with this, it'll make you loose as possible. And you won't have that little nasal drip or anything. You won't have to be hocking up boogies in the morning. It's it's a solid fit.
That's the perfect way to put it. Navage makes breathing easier. So go get yourself a Navage unit and it will clear out those nasal passages. And it can work as quickly as in 30 seconds. Like it is a very quick setup for you. That's the beauty of Navage. It's more of a machine that gets the job done for you, so you don't have to do all the work. Exactly. That's the noise it makes. Drug-free, 99.9% pure saline salt pods. And FT fam, you can get yourself a Navage starter pack, a nose cleaner with batteries, and 30 original salt pods by going to navage.com/foul and get yourself a free cleaning kit as a gift only by using the promo code FOUL, FOUL. There's a bunch of fans that have written in and been like, yo, I use Navage. It's legit. No joke. NAVAGE.com/foul. That's promo code foul at navage.com/foul. Talking A's next. Last game in Oakland just happened. Ann Killion is a columnist for the San Francisco Chronicle, and I feel like I have to start at a little bit of a lower tone here because it did have super sad emotional vibes yesterday. Oakland getting its last Major League Baseball game with the A's. And thank you so much for joining us and all the great coverage that you've done out there. We have been all over this story from the jump as soon as our show started to be able to bring this more coverage, since some places won't. And I know you did a great job documenting this. So first off, thank you for joining us. And how was the experience yesterday? How was it yesterday?
It was
how was
a
it?
mixture of heartbreaking and heartwarming. It was super emotional. I think people felt, all the feels. They were sad. They were happy to be there. They were sentimental. They were angry. But it was, it was just a very emotional day. I mean, longtime employees were bursting into tears. Mark Kotze was crying. It was just you couldn't go anywhere without seeing people weeping and hugging, and very much felt like being at a funeral.
Let me ask you this. Sorry, Todd.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. And I watched it and I was sad. And I wasn't the most beloved player in the history of the Bay Area, but it was still sad for me because I had a lot of memories there. No, but I had a lot of memories in Oakland. And played a lot of, there's a lot of memories from my career where I look back and say, man, Oakland was great. Good and bad. Listen, I won games there, I lost games there, and just had a really awesome time every time I went there. Now, facilities weren't the best, obviously. But, gosh, to see the way that place went out yesterday, the only thing I can say is as good as the Bay Area, NBC Bay Area tried to do it, I thought there should have been more fans. I thought there should have been more discussions. And I know they're paid by the team, but, man, I just wanted more fan reaction, more fan interaction, I guess, than what we got, because it was, yes, I know there was a game to cover, but man, it would have been nice to just almost have like a split screen with the game and a fan camera just to show all the people going around.
That's a great idea. You should have been the producer. I think that the broadcasters are in a very tricky position. I think many of the employees are in a tricky position. I think that, some of the best quotes I got yesterday came out of the Rangers locker room, because obviously Mark Semien played there. He's an East Bay product. He grew up going to that ballpark. And he didn't have to worry about making his owner mad for the way he felt. So, a lot of the people there, obviously not the fans, but the broadcast crew and the employees, they're still kind of walking a little bit of a tightrope there, because there are a lot of people to blame in this scenario, but the guy who owns the team and signs their paychecks is by far and away the number one villain in this whole scenario. Yeah,
most definitely. And I think, Scott's been a big advocate about this whole thing about, about Fisher. It just has been terrible, if you want the truth about what's been going on. When you're at that ballpark yesterday, you're looking up in the crowd, like, we talked about memories. We talked about, fan reactions. What are you going to take away from that stadium, from the last time you looked at it? What are like the biggest parts of you that you're going to remember? It's like, man, I'll never forget this.
Well, I grew up in the Bay Area, and the first team that I fell in love with, my dad was a Giants fan, but I fell in love with those mustachioed, white-shoed World Series teams from the 70s that were just, they changed baseball in so many ways. And then the first time I ever went to I didn't go to any of those World Series games. The first time I ever went to a World Series was an A's World Series, because, the Giants didn't get to a lot of World Series. I have memories of going there with my kids, as a kid, as a teenager. It was a place that has touched virtually everyone in the Bay Area if you've been here for more than 5 seconds. And I think, and this is one of the things I wrote about, is it was a very democratic ballpark. It was very accessible to fans. You could go, you could take BART, you could park in the parking lot and have your own tailgate without having to go to a fancy club. You could bring in your own food. You could sit in the bleachers and have a hot dog. And that experience, baseball spends a lot of time wondering what they're doing that's wrong. Why aren't they reaching people? I think part of it is that experience is starting to disappear. And the Oakland Coliseum was it was a dump, but it was accessible. And it was one of the few places you could still go. You could take a family of 4. You could take grandma and grandpa. Grandma and grandpa could take the grandkids. It was affordable. It was accessible. And I feel like that is kind of disappearing from baseball, unfortunately.
Sticking with Fisher, what did you think about the letter the other day he wrote? Should he have just went away quietly, or was it just something that kind of
It
just
was
hit you right here a little bit with a knife? You know what I mean?
exactly a giant thing of salt pouring into the wound. It was just so tone deaf, but it's kind of what we expect. I mean, I called it, not to be crass, but nobody wants to hear from the murderer at the funeral. I mean, it just was a tone deaf, one more insult. He's treated the fans so poorly. It was full of lies, half truths. He said he tried so hard to get a ballpark in Oakland. Well, as soon as he bought the team, he started trying to move the team out of Oakland, to San Jose, to Fremont, to things that were never viable. And then most of his sites that he set on in Oakland for a ballpark weren't viable. I mean, he pursued things that weren't even possible, and then tried to point the finger at other places. And he never pursued the most logical site, which is the site that the Coliseum sits on. It's 120 acres of Bay Area real estate, with BART and freeway access, and you'd have to be very uncreative to not be able to figure out something fantastic you could build there.
Okay. Did you see the post game last night? Did you see the post game after the game when Bipp and
my post was writing on my computer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you had to work. I get it. But gosh, what's
Brody
the guy?
Brazil
Yes,
is the host who was on his last show
was on his last show because he's been let go. Did you see his idea where he said the A's sold these tickets? They should have given them away for free and said as a thank you, but instead they sold and they jacked up the prices. Not only did they sell them, they jacked up the prices. Is this just another instance of Fisher saying, I want every last dollar that I can get out of these Oakland fans?
You know what they did? They replaced the bases every inning, and they sold them. They were selling them. They gave a set, I believe, to Kotze. They gave a set to Claywood, the groundskeeper. But then they were auctioning or selling them off. One of my colleagues wrote about a guy paying $1,000. I mean, come on. Like, you couldn't donate to charity. It was funny, though, when the gates were open, I'm pretty sure all the longtime employees were just letting people come in and not charging them to park, which might have been one of their last, flip of the bird to John Fisher. But no, I mean, that's, when as soon as he started talking about Las Vegas, he jacked up season tickets and then blamed the fans for not showing up. I mean, in some cases, people had their season tickets quadrupled. And that was when he, had gotten rid of all the players. I mean, he's just been trying to squeeze. I mean, the revenue sharing that he's been getting. When did Oakland become a small market? Only when he bought it. He's just tried to get everything he can, and he's a billionaire, and he's not willing to put his own neck on the line.
Well, then my last thing is, how avoidable was this? Why? I don't understand. Even my wife, she watches baseball, but she's not that. But she did watch the end of the game yesterday because she has a lot of good memories, bad memories in Oakland, also in the Bay Area. How avoidable was this? Why aren't they staying in Oakland for the next 2 to 3 years until they hopefully get this miraculous stadium in Vegas? Why do they have to go to Sacramento? This place is still a viable option. It's probably a better option than Sacramento. So why? I still have not had any, other than just being greedy and wanting to get out. You mean to tell me that two people couldn't have sat down? There couldn't have been somebody from the outside, the mayor's office, and said, I'm going to be the savior. I know John Fisher wants every dollar, but how can there not have been one person to save this?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, it doesn't make any sense what their plan is to go to a minor league ballpark where it's, 110 degrees. They're going to have to put in artificial turf because it's the Giants AAA affiliate will still be there. The MLB Players Association is, I don't think, very thrilled with the idea. It's just, it's ridiculous. It'll skew all the numbers. What is Aaron Judge going to do in that ballpark? It's kind of crazy. I just think the relationship became so toxic. There don't seem to be any adults in the room. And yes, the city of Oakland is at fault in all of this, but to go to Sacramento to not really, I mean, the plan for Las Vegas is far from set. We're supposed to hear more about it by the end of the year. It's just, they're leaving Oakland and going on a journey to nobody's really sure where. It's just, that they're leaving Oakland, and John Fisher wanted it that way. And let's not get slack on the rest of major league owners. I mean, they approved this, and I don't know if they really knew all the details or knew what they were getting in, but they rubber stamped it. The one thing it's good for the Giants, who now have this massive territory, very wealthy territory all to themselves.
Let me ask you this. I know you've talked to a bunch of fans too as well. Like, what's next for them? Do they stick with the squad? Are they Giants fans? Do they walk away from baseball? Have you gotten any answers or what people have been saying?
I can't imagine many people will make the drive to Sacramento. I mean, that's the sense I get. I think they don't want to support John Fisher. They don't want to, they'll always bleed green and gold in some way, but they're going to hope that someone comes in and buys the team. They're going to hold on to their memories. And there's a lot of anger at the Giants. So the fact that the Giants think they might just swallow up all these fans, I don't know. That could, because everyone who knows the A's scenario knows that, the Giants are thrilled that the A's are leaving, and they didn't, want to make a deal for the San Jose territorial rights. So, maybe their kids will become Giants fans, but I don't know that people who are now identify as A's fans are going to just flip the switch. It takes a generation. Usually we found that, with Raider fans whose kids eventually became 49er fans after they left. But, and I think a lot of people are just kind of fed up with baseball, which is, I don't know. It's not great for a whole market of people to be fed up, and it's just not great for baseball to lose this market. I mean, you guys think about not just the swinging A's of the 70s, but then after that came Billy Ball, then the Bash Brothers, and then Moneyball. It's like this place has launched so many cool movements in baseball, so much innovation, and changed the game in so many ways, and it's like baseball just turned its back on all of that history.
Yeah, I mean, it's gross. It's 57 years of a strong brand built up here, and they're just deciding to shoot it. I mean, that's why, in my mind, John Fisher writes that letter and at the end says, and make sure you follow us, right? We're going to keep the name. Yeah. So stupid. And also, I mean, even for that, right? Like, we know, I've spoken to plenty of people in Vegas, like they want nothing to do with this man and the brand that he has built and put his stamp on, right? And so they're even, bringing the name over the whole deal. Best thing they could have done is try and fool people into thinking this was something else, and they're not doing that either. So dude's a crook. That continues. So my question for you is, what negativity was there at the ballpark, because the broadcast wasn't allowed to cover it, right? So they did a nice job in some ways of being sentimental. It was a tough watch for me because I couldn't see the entire experience there. You're not going to see a bad sign. Even, I'm sure there were sell chants and F John Fisher chants and all of that, but I couldn't absorb any of that besides what people were capturing on their phones. So what was going on there in terms of the anger?
There was a low level anger, and it kind of seemed to ramp up. There was definitely sell the team chants, and some expletives hurled toward John Fisher, who I'm quite sure was not in the building. There were the usual banners, about Fisher and sell the team, and Doris, come get your boy. Doris is his mother's name. And we had a couple people run on the field, and a couple of smoke bombs, the kind you see at soccer games, in the outfield. But at the end of the game, people stood. I mean, I would say it was probably still full half an hour after the game, and probably an hour after the game, there were still a few hundred people in the stands. They just didn't want to leave. But I didn't see any kind of real anger. There were some. People said that it was hard to buy alcohol inside. And now this is another thing he's done, is notoriously have low staffing. Concessions aren't well stocked. They close too early. But it might have been deliberate to try and kind of, keep a lid on some of that, the drunken anger. But, there's definitely anger. But that's been expressed, and I think so well, I mean, the fan protests last year, and the boycotts, and the moment of silence. I think it's been expressed, and I think a lot of people went, while they're still angry, they just really wanted yesterday yesterday to be their own personal moments.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for covering it and for, enlightening our fan base. And, we've been looking forward to talking to you and obviously continuing the conversation here of what's gone on. And it's such a baseball problem.
It
That's
just
what I
feels so
always
bad
say.
for the employees, man.
It's
The
terrible.
employees. The
Oh, yeah.
employees, fans.
The grounds crew guy, you
That's what
see
I'm
him
talking about.
crying.
The grounds crew guy that had his dog there every day that sat on the lawnmower. Like, that was cool when you went to Oak. It was such a different, I mean, Todd, you played out there. It was such a different vibe when you, other than any other park in baseball. Every other park in baseball, a lot of them were similar.
Yes.
You went to Oakland, it was a completely different animal, what you were dealing with.
Fans too. It wasn't cookie cutter fans.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm talking about. It was just, everything was different. You're in Oakland, you're like, I know I'm in Oakland.
Yep.
And it was awesome.
Yeah. A lot of character to our sport. So, and the only thing we can do is hope that this crook eventually sells and also that we get an expansion team there somehow. We need fresh blood in terms of ownership to continue to flow into our game. I think that's the only way to start to fix the problems that have been caused by monsters who were, born on third base and think they hit a triple.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more with you.
Thank you so much, Ann. Appreciate you. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Ann Killion, who writes for the San Francisco Chronicle. Make sure you look her up and check out those articles. They're great. Yeah, and we'll just put a bow on this from our own thoughts. The one part we didn't get to that I want to shout out as well is Kotze's speech. I thought that was really strong. There were rumors like they didn't want him to talk or whatever. I don't know, but he got a microphone, he spoke, and it was cool. It
was very cool. He had his little notes with him too as well. That would be me 100%. Like if I had to say something, like usually I could speak off the top, but I got to jot down something and kind of like, you look down for that, especially, he put a lot of thought to it. He meant from the heart. So, I wonder exactly when the fans did leave. I would have never left. I mean, it's incredibly sad, and you just got to think about all the good things that did happen there for sure.
Yeah, I can't imagine having to be a broadcaster. I mean, Brody Brazil nailed it because he was also on his way out. They screwed him over.
But
I know his situation.
If you listen, is Dallas Braden going with him to Sacramento?
Probably.
He has to be the way he was talking.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Because I thought at some point, and Todd, I don't know if you got to watch it all, but I watched like the last 3 to 4 innings of it.
Yeah.
It was all like how positive everything was.
Correct.
I'm like, if Dallas told the great
they were just
story
like, so long, farewell. This is cool.
Like Dallas told the story about his kids, which was cool. Like
that was strong.
The last time we're going to the Coliseum.
Yeah.
That was cool. But like a lot of it was like, we'll see you in Sacramento. And I get they work for the team, but gosh.
That's it. That's why it's tough.
I think you had the best idea when you said it should have been a national broadcast.
Yes. Non-exclusive national broadcast. Give them their game. You want to watch your team, right? But the Fox, ESPN, one of them should have been allowed to cover that game so that we could have seen it all. Yeah. Because we saw some. It was a very calculated
I didn't
broadcast.
watch Texas. I watched the Oakland broadcast, so I don't know what Texas dug in.
I watched theirs too. I mean,
they were probably less than Oakland because they were like, "We're get the heck out of here."
Yeah, and they did some things, but it's not their team and their connection there. This had like we talk about with Fox, how they can cover it and almost make it feel like a movie. This would have been it, but I'm pretty sure if I had to guess, I'll throw a rumor out there that no one was allowed to do that because if it's a national broadcaster, they're going to cover it in a different way. Right. Yep. But they would have crushed it. I would have liked that. I wanted to feel it in terms of all the emotions, not just we had a nice ride. So that's me. All right. We'll go over the AL wild card because it's almost done, actually.
Done.
Big Thursday in baseball in the American League wild card. Royals, dub, close game. Tigers, dub, close game. Twins, 13 innings against the Marlins. They dropped the series. They collapsed. They were down early. They come back. They had all kinds of issues, and they end up losing that game. And they're not mathematically done.
They're done.
They are done.
They're.
I cooked them yesterday.
All it takes is one win for either of these teams.
And they're done, or one loss from them. They're done. It's over. These are the teams that will make it in the AL wild card. We'll figure out the seeding with the Tigers and the Royals, but exactly, Todd Father. And there were a lot of wows. Did you see the bunt, the pop-up bunt, double play?
Hold on. Did you see it wasn't Sarah Langs that put it out, the the playoff probability? The Twins were like up here and the Tigers were down here. And then it just flip-flopped like completely the other way.
Big wee.
Wow.
That's what she calls them. The wee drop for the Twins. This is crazy. We didn't even get to the final weekend with them still involved. Like, I thought, hey, the Tigers have a chance. We're probably going to have a Saturday, Sunday craziness. Nope. No drama. It's seeding. That's it. What the heck happened?
I mean, this is best case scenario for Tigers. They can save, more likely they can save Scooble.
Yep.
Right, for the pitching. And they can line it up. I mean, they just got to win one game. Now they play the White Sox, so the White Sox are the hottest team in baseball right now, so they're going to be tough. Okay? But if the Twins lose or they win one of the first two games, they save Scooble for Tuesday in Houston. Or
huge. They need that. Yeah.
Or Baltimore if they get the 5 somehow. But wow, I mean, it's incredible. We talked about it. Like I talked about in the open. Todd, this is one of the biggest choke jobs of all time. And you can put it on the players, you can put it on the owners, you can put it on Rocco. It's an organizational failure for the Twins. I'm sorry. There's no other way to say it. They didn't sign anybody in the offseason. They didn't go trade for anybody in the trade deadline. They thought they could do what they did last year and cruise in. The Guardians didn't go away. The Royals didn't go away. And the Tigers came out of nowhere. Like, literally nowhere. They traded Flaherty, Canna. Javi Baez went away. They traded Chafin. They put in all these young dudes. A.J. Hinch pressed all the right buttons, and congratulations, Detroit, man. And Scott, when Ken Rosenthal comes on, we're going to make him apologize, too.
He didn't count out the Tigers. He just said the wild card race.
No, he counted out the Tigers.
Right. He said the wild card race in general was kind of done.
No, he said it was done.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll have our fun.
And plus, Ken's not expecting me today, so he's going to get
it's going to be a little sneak attack. That's right.
He's probably listening right now.
You want to see the Correa play, too, at the buzzer?
Yeah,
did you think he would have been safe?
Oh, man, he would have definitely been safe at first base. You can't. Here it is. If for you viewing folks that can't see at home, a chopper to the pitcher. He didn't run it out. The guy threw it over the first baseman, said he caught it, came back, touched first after he started running harder. You can't do that after you call basically your teammates out, AJ. You know that. That's Rule 101, man. Oh, dude. Now, if you're a young player looking like, all right, I kind of feel better about myself knowing this guy just talked smack and didn't do that. I mean, honestly, it's just not a good look at all. That couldn't happen at a worse time.
Seriously, was it yesterday he said the quotes? Or some guys are not?
No, it was a few days ago.
Some guys pressure's poison. Some of it's fuel.
And then Rocco said he's all
work hard enough.
True.
Yeah.
Right. And then Rocco agreed. The manager. So
listen,
both things can be true.
I'm going to say this.
What?
Nobody runs every ball out 100% hard. Okay. Todd, I assuming you didn't. No, Bryce Harper, when he said, I'm going to run every ball out 100, bull, whatever you want to call it. It's not, nobody can do it. Okay. You can run. Listen, now the thing that's damning though, is that, that's your season. Okay. And listen, you're assuming, because that's what you do when you're in the big leagues, this pitcher's going to pick this ball up and I'm going to be out by 20 feet. Because you saw the last two steps. He's like, oh gosh, I got to get there. He's out by, this much, right? Now, again, it happens. It's just a bad look after the day before, 2 days before, when you come out and say what you said.
Yes.
And listen, I've been there. We've all been there. Todd, you've been there. You don't run it all the way out and you're out by a foot and you could have been safe. It just sucks, right? Because it happened so close to what happened before.
And he had a missile, and he's been basically the only guy hitting him in Walner, who then went down.
Yes.
But yes, the
Scott, you know what would have been worse?
What?
If the umpire went safe, they reviewed it, and then they called him out. And then he'd have to stand there and walk off. Oh, God, man.
Yeah, it's ugly.
No bueno.
Not good. Credit to Skip Schumacher, by the way, for getting the boys together. The Marlins have used at least 70 players, I think it is now, which I think is a record, mean, I don't know half the guys on the Marlins now.
The guy who
and I'm
pitched
a
him
nerd.
last night, Balazzo, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, he throws like this big curveball. He's got some funk to him.
He
And I almost
looks
took
good.
them to win last night, but I didn't. But I won my bet. But I almost took them because of him.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, their bullpen came up huge for him in 12 innings, and then the bunt where they
The pop-up bunt. Who is that?
Jeffers, and then Santana's the one at second base.
They had first and second. Nobody out.
And all they had to do was score a run to win the game.
1 run. That's
Oh my
bad.
God.
I mean, it has been a failure down the finish line. This is why we do the show
They had
year-round.
bases loaded, nobody out too. Down 1 at one point. Oh man,
Dude,
I can't.
We do this show in the offseason for a reason. There is going to be something going on
Minnesota
there.
fans are pissed because I know a lot of them up there. They are not happy.
They're fuming.
They're pissed.
They've been fuming since the end of last season.
Yeah.
When they were told, we got to cut things down. Like, it's just been so weird and so deserved in terms of the karma of how this was treated. Like, we're better than everyone else on our projections, so we don't have to do much, and we're going to cut payroll coming off playoff money. It's bad. It's all bad. So, and I mean, I like Rocco Baldelli a lot. I think he's done a great job there. To me, sure, the team had to play better down the stretch, but he was not armed with what he needed. That roster was
No, he was
flailing.
not.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the Dodgers winning the NL West for the 11th
This wasn't already
time.
done. What's amazing is like the Dodgers were like, oh, they won it months ago.
No.
I know, but that's just the way everyone was talking.
If they get swept
It's
here,
like the Yankees
it
and
would have been
Todd.
different.
Todd's like, oh, they won the division in April 5th.
Yeah, right.
You know, and now all of a sudden they finally get it done.
But this one was even more lofty because I feel like in the beginning of the year, you're like, all right, the Orioles and the Yankees are going to have a good little back and forth. The Dodgers were in cruise control for a while, and the Padres have just been gangbusters in the second half of the season. But the Dodgers won this series. They did a nice job. Ohtani looks like he is going to be fun to watch in October. And in the last 12 years, they've only lost the division one time, finished in second by like a game or something to the Giants. So this team is as dominant as they come in the regular season. Keywords, regular season.
Hey, now, he is absolutely filth. He's, I know we had that big conversation the other day about it. I mean, putting up 7 runs in 2 innings. I mean, or 3 innings, whatever it was, is incredible. This guy, and he's finding holes too. He hit a ground ball that found a hole. He's hitting balls hard. I'm telling you right now, people are going to walk this guy just because they know what the damage he can do with 2 outs and a runner on first, and second. I mean, I would. He is downright nasty in all the best ways possible. He might carry their team to a couple victories in the playoffs because they're going to need every bit of them. We know Freddie Freeman rolled his ankle. X-rays were negative, but at the same time, Mookie needs to get going a little bit more. I see him kind of popping up a little bit, but I'm not worried about their hitting. I'm worried about other things. So we'll see. Bottom of the lineup, that kind of stuff. Every team has their flaws, and this is what's going to make this playoff so fun because it's going to be somebody else that has to figure it out. It might not be the big names besides Shohei, besides an Aaron Judge. Other guys are going to have to step up because of injuries and this kind of stuff, and this is what's going to make it fun.
Yeah, they better hope Freddie's okay.
They better hope that someone other than Flaherty can pitch too.
Yeah. Bueller?
Yeah.
Bueller pitched better last night, but again, San Diego, they were done, right? They were kind of
1 strikeout too.
Yeah, they were kind of done. I mean,
that's going to be who's pitching? Who do you feel good about after games 1 and 2? And even
Yamamoto
Yamamoto's still right. It's Flaherty, Yamamoto, and then how are you lining up?
Knack, Bueller.
Yeah, that's it. That's the 4.
Hope and pray your bullpen comes through.
Yeah.
Here's my thing: is Freddie going to be okay? I saw him roll his ankle,
Mm-hmm.
which one didn't look good. I mean, but he rolled it outside. That's better than doing it the high ankle sprain where you roll it to the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Like the outside one, he's got a week to get ready, basically.
Yes.
So, yeah, but I don't know. It depends on who they match up with too, right? If they get the Padres, which is a real possibility, that's going to be fun. Man, I hope I get that series again. That was so much fun in 22.
Heck yeah. I think the Mets are a tough matchup for them too.
Either one. Could they beat both New York teams in one postseason to win the World Series?
Wow.
And break all of Todd Frazier's hearts? Like all of them.
family and friends' hearts too.
And all the TV executives would just be freaking
They play well. I
cheersing
like
and-
them at home. I like them at home though, man. They do. They step up at home, in my opinion. I think that people are like, oh, home field advantage. I think that plays a part, especially in these 3-game series too, as well.
All right, well, let's not forget about the Phillies. Nick Castellanos is going to
They're pretty
join
good.
us next.
They're pretty
They're
good.
pretty good. We'll see
Yeah,
how
they've
good.
done
We'll
okay.
ask Nick.
They've done okay.
Nick's joining us next. The the NL East champs, the Philadelphia Phillies, debut on FT for Castellanos. Key for us here, busy time of year, and you might be rushing to get the kids to school, or you're going to work and you just kind of forget about breakfast, or you hit a workout and then you don't have time to sit down and prepare a gourmet meal. The answer, right here. It is Orgain. Todd Father approved as well, right?
Of course.
Do a little bit of this.
Quick, because I'm always on the run, man, especially with kid sports. So crank that thing down, sip it, one gulp, it doesn't matter, it's good. There's no aftertaste as well. I think that's the part I really like.
Yeah, I spoke to some people with the company and they were like, taste matters, okay? What is inside, of course, matters. We handle that, but they're like, there's no excuse in 2024 for a drink that you're having every day to not taste good. So I was like, respect, thank you.
Yes.
You're like, let's enjoy life too. If you're going to have this thing be part of your day every day, let's enjoy it. So you get the protein you need. If you're skipping meals, this can definitely help fill the void. If you're like, I did breakfast, I can't do lunch, but I'm going to do dinner, Orgain can help fill the void there. So make sure you go check out Orgain at the local Costco's, or you can get yourself a discount if you go online, Orgain.com, and you can get yourself 20% off if you use the website Orgain.com/foul. Okay. The 30-gram protein shakes are available on there. If you want to get in on the delicious protein-packed nutrition today, Orgain.com/FOUL for 20% off. And you can use the promo code if it's not already in there, FOUL, FOUL. Be right back with Nick Castellanos. Here we go. Philly slugger Nick Castellanos joining us on FT right now for the first time. Nick, great to see you, man. It's been a minute since I've seen you. One of the best interviews in baseball. But you know your boy Cam Maben set this up, and then he just shut off all the lights and all his power. So he no-showed for this. You're going to give him some crap for that?
I mean, the hurricane apparently is not his fault, right?
Yes, the hurricane is definitely not his fault. No.
Yeah, but him not having a generator with all that money he made is definitely his fault.
True.
I mean, do you think somebody gave him that idea?
The generator thing?
Like, do you think someone's talked to him about that? And he just decided no, or like he didn't know about it?
I bet he didn't know, because how many
No.
hurricanes is North Carolina getting?
About one about every 30 years. So
So no, exactly. And they don't have one of those fancy magnets that you talked about, which
see, it missed Tallahassee, wobbled right.
it did miss Tallahassee. So anyway, Nick, let's get into ball. So you guys already clinched the division, right? What do you do between now and the playoffs? Like when people say, "Oh, the team's prepping for the postseason," what does that mean?
Me as a player, I don't really know. I have 3 games left of the regular season. I want to finish as strong as I can, and then just prepare. Right, like for me, that's just making sure my body's good, making sure that I'm doing my homework, and just ready to compete. Honestly,
What's up, big dog, man? You look nice, calm, cool, and collective over there, kid.
what's up?
Hey, there's the smile I like to see, doggy. Hey, let me talk to you. You got some of the funniest quotes I've heard in a long time from a baseball player, dude. You didn't give me those when we played at third base, so you're gonna have to
Well,
break
I
one
thought
down.
about them. I just didn't
Yeah.
have the stones to say it out loud.
I love that. Tell me, tell me a little bit. Give me a quote that you live by. I know you talk about the Scooby Doo being the hero. I know I don't have a degree. I just hit baseballs. That stuff is all great. Give me something that you live by, personally. Whether it's baseball, off the field, something that you go about everyday business you believe in.
I'd say that I do the best job I can to pretend less and less each day that I'm alive. That's the best way that I can sum that up. And like to catch myself when I find myself starting to pretend, whether that's for people to like me or whether for money or whether for, notoriety, just to become more and more aware of that, I'd say.
Nick, you mentioned getting prepared for the playoffs. How do you prepare when you don't know who you're playing? Because you guys don't know yet. Are you a big film guy? Are you a big I'm going to wait and see the day before guy? Or do you start preparing now for the possibility of two teams you guys could face?
No. Once I know, then I'll probably start looking like, all right, who's in their bullpen? What are their out pitches? Certain things like that. But right now, we're playing the Nationals, so as cliche as it is today, I think we have. I'm not sure who's pitching yet today for them, but I'll find out in a second, and then go from there.
Okay. Okay. So then let me ask you for today. Let me see. I'm going to look right now who's pitching against y'all.
I'll
You
find it.
guys are facing Williams. He's 5-1 with a 2.19 ERA. What's he got? I don't even know his first name. Sorry.
Well, I know that.
Oh,
Well, Trevor.
it's Trevor Williams. It's
Yeah,
Trevor
the
Williams.
Yeah.
Sorry.
veteran. Yeah.
Yeah, but he missed like the whole year.
Yeah, he's been out for a while.
Well, I know that he doesn't have he doesn't have an electric fastball. So if he's gonna get me out, he's gonna want to get me to expand and swing at his pitch.
Mhm.
So honestly, it's just staying probably at the upper half of the strike zone and looking for something that I can handle. And then probably never taking my eyes off the right center gap, knowing that I don't have to cheat to get the bat head to one of his sinkers.
Love that. I mean, I was kind of the same as you, dude. Just grip it and rip it. You see, you can look as much film as you want, but too much up here, it starts getting a little hectic, man.
A hundred
Um,
percent. But it is that balance, like you do want to have an idea because the more that I talk to, hitters that are more accomplished than myself, they do have a plan and, they're able to take that information and like apply it without
mhm.
overcomplicating it, which I think is a beautiful thing to be able to do.
Let me ask you this. So along those lines, who are some of those guys that, you've been talking to create that balance in your brain?
Uh, it's not just like one person,
Okay. All right.
but like, two guys that you've played against a lot, right? You have Miggy and Victor Martinez. Victor Martinez was probably the most prepared, studied hitter. He would on purpose get the 2 strikes just because he knew what that pitcher wanted to throw with 2 strikes. And then you had somebody like Miguel Cabrera, which, I mean, for him it was backyard wiffle ball every single game of the
Yeah.
season.
Yep. Opposite field all day. A different subject here. You got hit by a pitch the other day.
Sure.
Um, go through that whole scenario there. Because you don't see it too often anymore. Guys are throwing at you on purpose, so it's kind of like anomaly now. I saw Harper get excited at second base. The boys had your back there. What was going on in your mind?
Um, well, I just saw a kid start getting gradually more and more frustrated as the inning went on. Uh, and then he started to really unravel once Trey hit that homer. And then I saw him just start pitching angrily. And Harper had a great at bat off him. and like got the scoring position again. And then, I had a feeling. I'm like, yo, this kid he's probably going to hit me. And then if you looked, like, I didn't even attempt to swing at that pitch because I just wanted to see if he was somewhere close to the plate, and he wasn't. So I just said, that's bullshit right away because apparently, here's the thing, like that happens a lot, I guess, in the minor leagues, because all the minor leaguers are talking about how often that happens, especially like, not to stereotype it, with like younger Latin players, because they're extremely talented. But as far as like being emotionally mature, sometimes that lacks. So right there, you're probably getting to the comment about Otto, my 2-year-old. That's just a display of emotional immaturity. And when you have a man who's throwing a ball mid 90s display that level of emotional immaturity, it's fucking frustrating.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. No
Hey,
doubt about it.
Nick, I love the emotion. We got to watch the cussing, though. I'm sorry. I would love to cuss right along with you, but on TV. So I was going to ask you, besides how frustrated you were, would you ever go? Would you ever go to the mound? Because, listen, I was thrown out a bunch of times. There was only one time I thought about it, and I looked out who was there, and I was like, I don't know if I want to charge this guy because he could beat me up after hitting me twice in a row. So I didn't go to first. But
Who
have you
was
ever
it?
thought about Vincente Padilla? Do you remember him?
I don't.
Okay, he's a Phillies guy. He's an old Phillies guy.
Yeah.
He hit me twice in a row. I deserved it, so I can't really be mad about it because I kind of said some things I shouldn't have to him. But did we lose Nick here?
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh, I hear him. I think he's back. I hear
think
him.
he got a phone call.
Nick, you still there? Oh, still frozen.
Still frozen. Yeah. I see. I like talking to Nick because I got a smile out of him. I see he's not a serious guy, but at the same time, he's stoic in his answers, and he's gonna shoot you straight. And whether you like it or not, that's the face he's gonna give you, bro. And I build off that kind of emotion because I want to break it down just a little bit, just to get him on that smile a little bit, and talk a little bit.
Yeah.
No, he's great. He gives you real answers.
Oh,
he does.
Solid. It's real.
Yeah. I hope he calls back.
Me too, because those are real answers. I want to know, do you ever charge? Todd, you never charged, right?
No, I can remember one opportunity, but it would have been the third fight of the game, so no excuse. I probably should have went. I probably should have went. Yeah.
Okay. No, so Vincente Padilla hit me twice, and if you ask someone around the Phillies, it's been around. He was a Phillies guy for a long time.
Yeah.
He hit me twice, and I had yelled at him, and I decided not to charge him out, which is smart because then Nick Swisher charged the mound on him and got his ass whooped. So I made the right decision because not only did he hit me twice, like he hit me twice in the right tricep, and
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Nick, if he hit me here, he hit me the next time an inch over.
Oof.
And I was like, what do I do? And I'm like, nope, I'm just going to put my head down. I admit it. I didn't want to go. I should have, but I didn't. Yeah.
Well, Nick, question for you on this. Your former teammate Whit Merrifield said, and he's part of the rules committee, he wants to try and put something in there that would police this better for the safety of the players. What do you think about that? And do you have any ideas?
Yeah, I talked with Rajay Davis about this in New York. I think that they're just the further away that pitchers get from the batter's box, right? And the more that the game develops where stuff trumps pitchability, I think that there does need to be some sort of respect level when a pitcher's getting ready to throw a fastball. Whether that's if somebody's hit with a fastball that, because they have all this data that is like in your own batter's box, not like you go to check swing or something like that happens, because obviously I'm talking about the ones that are where all you do is turn around because you're getting hit no matter what. You're awarded second base. It's 2 bases instead of 1. Rajay Davis started talking about how they're thinking about collecting a point system like your license. That certain amount of pitches in certain areas get you certain amount of points, and then you are able to get ejected or suspended, and the team doesn't get a roster spot. So at least people are talking about upping the consequences of getting hit. I think it's the primary thing is just fastballs. Off speed are always going to get away, and if that doesn't hurt as bad as a heater, especially like up in the zone. But people are talking about it, and that's step one. What the answer is or where we end up to, I don't know at this moment.
Talking about people talking about things. Rowdy Tellez of the Pirates. I don't know if you heard about this. They let him go 4 at bats before my man
Yeah.
can make $200,000. I think about this. The NFL. Tom Brady got Antonio Brown like 7, 8 catches in one game just so he can get his bonus. You have any thoughts about this whole situation? I know it happens a lot of times. I just think it was kind of crummy, if you want the truth.
I do too, and honestly, for all the players, that are out there that are paying attention, their assistant hitting coach Christian Morero is one of my best friends, and has been like a baseball staple of mine since I was young, and also Don Kelly. I didn't know him as young as Christian, but definitely one of my mentors in the big league. So like I have a lot of love for the people in that organization. But as far as an ownership standpoint, I think it really just shows you how numbers oriented and how much of a business it is for the people up top that are making these decisions. And look, they have the right to do that because unfortunately, no matter what happens, your asset of owning a major league team is not going to go anywhere if you fail to win. So, like, it sucks and it's crummy. And I don't think that that's the right way to do it if wanting to win a World Series is the reason why you own the team. But if you're a businessman and you are, balancing out your portfolios and making sure that you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's and, you're getting all of your money set, then I understand it. So the business side of my brain says, yeah, I totally get it. The human baseball competitor side, building a winning culture side, does not get it, but it is what it is.
Nick, you've been pretty fortunate, though. You played for Detroit, the Illiches, especially when Mike Illich was alive. He wanted to win. And now you're
No
in the
doubt.
Middletons, and we know he wants to win because he said, give me
No
my
doubt.
bleeping trophy back, right?
Yeah.
In the middle, though, you had the Cubs and the Reds. You can question whether the Ricketts family, Castellanos, want to win. So what's it like going from a team like, let's say, we'll use Cincinnati. They don't necessarily want to win. Then you go to Phillies. They want to win. What's the difference in what you see in the organizations?
That's a great question. You could tell that came from a veteran player.
I played on a lot of teams. Some didn't want to win. Some did.
Well, I think it first starts with the owner, right? Mike Illich and John Middleton, what they have in common is that they are a fan of their team, right? Like the kind of fan that would go with their family and sit in the upper deck and, enjoy themselves and be loud and obnoxious, right? So that passion is there, and then they're gonna, okay, who's gonna help me get there? Well, then that's when you have a president or a general manager. And in having a pretty good relationship with Dave, because he's the one that drafted me when I was 18, and still is, the reason why I'm here on the Phillies, is that before he takes a job, he wants the opportunity to do what he wants to do what he believes in, and wants the chance to be wrong. That's important, right? Because sometimes when you go all in, that doesn't mean that it's right or it's going to happen positively, but it can. But he gets that opportunity from the owner to be wrong, and then from there, you just have to understand who's a baseball mind and who's not, and then you get the right people in the right positions who care about the right things and don't nickel and dime the process. Sometimes things happen, sometimes you might need a little bit more here or there, but you take what's necessary, because the goal, I don't think, for John Middleton is to profit from, I mean, nobody wants to operate at a loss, but I don't think that he's using the Philadelphia Phillies to keep other means of income afloat, right? I don't think he's using the Phillies franchise as a balancing act for his overall wealth portfolio. I think he's in it because he wants a ring, and that's a beautiful thing for an organization.
That's
It's
awesome.
the best thing.
Yeah.
It's the best thing. Isn't that why you play? Isn't that why you put on the spikes? You go through what you go through every single day. Todd, I was lucky enough to get one. Todd, sadly you did not. But that's why you do this. You go through the spring training, you go through the offseason, you go through the 162 getting up every day. Trust me, there's days you wake up, you're like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this game today, but you do it. And if you ultimately get the ring, which is the ultimate prize, to me, it's all worth it. Mm-hmm. And I hope, Nick, I'm assuming you feel the same way.
I wouldn't be in this if I didn't want. I feel like that's like a gigantic check or bucket list thing I would like to accomplish before I'm not playing anymore, right? That's like the ultimate it's like the ultimate thing you could do collectively, right? Like with your brothers who you play with. Personally would be the Hall of Fame, but collectively, winning a World Series is the pinnacle of winning for the sport of baseball.
And the pinnacle, not only for baseball, but for you as well. You got your boy that's at some of the games, man, the interactions that you guys have. How special is it, seeing him, getting fired up after you hit a home run in the playoffs and that stuff? Talk about how special and that good connection you have as well.
Man, it's everything, like these are things that and moments and situations I only got to dream of at a distance. As a kid, the Marlins won 2 World Series while I was a child, growing up as like a baseball player, baseball fan. 97 when I was 5, and 03 when I was born in 92, so 11 years old. Hey, Liam's 11 now. And like it's just incredible. So for him to be there with me and practicing the day before, working with me on the field, just being a part of my daily preparation and getting a front row seat, just so I can prove to him first most, like, hey, this is possible. You could do this if you want to. But I don't know. It just makes I'm very happy and fortunate that I can make this stuff real for him.
Yes. I got to ask you this. You saw all these guys, Jackson Churio and Jackson Holiday, when they celebrated, they had the non-alcoholic stuff. So I half expected in the Phillies clubhouse for you to have something like that for your kids, like off to the side, where you could celebrate with them. Because listen, I think it's awesome. My son, I played till my kids were old enough to remember, and you're fortunate enough to be able to do that also. I wish I never made the playoffs when they were old enough to remember it. But man, I wish it would have been awesome if you would have had like his favorite drinks, Liam's favorite drinks, like in the corner. He's off in the corner. Now he's not in the main celebration, but you look over and you see that the Castellanos boys sucking down some apple juice or something. I think that would have been pretty awesome.
It would have. He was down in Florida playing some baseball tournaments of his own, so unfortunately couldn't. But he's already been in some celebrations. He says they're very cold.
They are. They are. Now, listen, he's not wrong about that. They are cold, especially for first timers. When that first champagne or beer hits you, it definitely, it gets certain parts of your upper torso a little bit.
Yeah, you feel that. You feel that.
Yes, no doubt.
All right. Let's finish with this. You guys are going to have a bye. I know you guys talked about this early on in spring training. What do you feel about the whole bye first round vibes that have been created here? And obviously you guys got a little called out in spring training by the Braves because, you guys got to play right through it. What do you think about that?
What do I think about us getting the bye, or what do I think about the Braves saying whatever it is that they said?
Combo, both.
What do I think about the bye? I think that it can be a beautiful thing if we use it the right way. I think that the downtime could probably be good for a lot of our bodies, right? With the grind of 162 that we just finished. But I know that we're also going to have a responsibility to figure out ways to stay mentally sharp, so it's not like we're knocking the rust off the first game. As for what the Braves said, I don't really care.
I love it.
I love it. Way to go, Harper. Way to go, Harper. Way to go, Harper.
Attaboy.
I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, last thing before I let you go, did you get a house in Jersey yet, brother? I'm still waiting for for us to hang out in the off season. Nothing.
Oh, you haven't figured out where I live? Because that was the first thing that happened to me when I touched down in Philly when I signed here.
Oh, okay, all right. So, all right, we'll exchange numbers after this.
Yeah, I mean, I could say it because everybody knows, but I got Ben Simmons' house.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Well,
Okay.
Ben Simmons built my house, is what I should say.
I like that.
That was nice of
Wait,
him.
does it have a full hoop? Does it have a hoop? A hoop? in it? A hoop court?
It has a basketball hoop outside on the driveway. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But not like the full
No, I thought
arena.
it would be like inside the full thing in there. That would have been.
Oh no!
for
If it had that, my man, I wouldn't have bought the house. That's too much of an electric bill per month for me to carry.
That's fair.
Hey, don't forget about me. I'm right down the street. Let's go.
Hey, is your son
Hey,
gonna go?
you're by Morristown?
No, I'm in Tom's River. Morristown is about an hour drive from me, but that's where my parents grew up there.
How far are you from Edison?
Same, about 45 to 50 minutes.
Yeah, that's where my wife's family's from.
All right. Yeah, no, I knew that.
Hey,
That's why I
set
was
it up,
wondering if
Todd.
you got a nice house. I know.
Hey, is your son?
Yeah.
Is your son gonna go to where? High school?
American Heritage Plantation.
Well, okay, that's where you went your first 2 years, right? And then you transferred out.
Yeah.
Okay. No Stoneman Douglas. No. He didn't want to play for Fitz down there.
For Fitz. That's so funny. Hey, Fitz would always say this thing like, you know, like as like a scare tactic if kids ever wanted to transfer out, he'd always say like, I lost better. I've lost better. Go ahead and transfer out. Transferred out. I don't know if he ever lost better.
Yeah.
Were you one of those that transferred?
I transferred.
Oh, so it's tough to lose better than you.
Yeah.
That's a tough one to lose.
That's a real loss there.
Yeah,
so.
that one hurt probably.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Well, old Tom,
but
we
he's
said
doing,
hello.
He's doing good coaching there. I know he's got some state titles under his belt.
He's got 4 in a row. One day, if I see you during the playoffs, I'll tell you a great story about him. I'll tell you a story, and you probably will be like, "Yep, that's him."
Well, I mean, yeah, he was my baseball coach for 4 years, so I'm sure I got a few too.
Well,
this is more recent though, so
Ooh.
you'll get a good laugh out of this.
Something juicy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. It's a good one.
Well, Nick, we'll let you jump, man. Appreciate the time. Awesome having you on. These guys have been looking forward to it for a while, and then you might see AJ in a week and a half on the series.
About a week, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So appreciate you, man.
No doubt. Be good, guys.
You too.
See ya.
See you, Nick. That's Nick Castellanos. Also, by the way, if you want more Phillies interviews, we have the Phillies show, part of the FT network with Todd Zalecki, Jim Salisbury, and Ruben Amaro. Spoke to them this morning, actually. They look great. They're very prepared and ready for their coverage of Phillies postseason games. They will be doing a show after every single Phillies postseason game, which, of course, Nick and the Phillies fam hopes is many games. Here we are.
By the way, I got to ask Todd, how far are you from Dover, New Jersey?
Dover.
Yeah.
I know Dover, Delaware. Dover, it's got to be North. Is it North Jersey? I think that's North Jersey. Scott, where is that?
So I never have been there. It's funny. The train line that I was on when I was a kid, and I took the train a lot to go to like work and internships and all that kind of stuff. The line ended in Dover, but I never made it that far, obviously.
Yeah, so that's got to be
Always
North
like,
Jersey.
oh, you're on the Dover train?
Yeah, it's like way north.
Is it like North Central?
Why are you going to be there?
No, because the only thing I know about New Jersey is the time in Practical Jokers, they had to paint a mural for Dover, New Jersey, and they just said Dover sucks. And then they like unveiled it as a punishment, and all the people were there, and the mayor of Dover, who was in on it, was like, and here's our new mural. And the guy's punishment, so he had to wear
Scotty,
all the comments. He's like, but you know, it means it sucks in a good way.
Oh, that's by Rockaway, Scotty. Rockaway, Denville. That's Morris County too, as well, I think.
Yeah. We never played any teams there. Like it was kind of abyss for me. I'd never been there. I just know it by name. It's on a train line, but apparently it sucks. So I'm not missing anything. I'm kidding for all you Dover, New Jersey.
Yeah, you're going to get one person on there that's going to be like, my auntie, you son of a gun, my auntie lives in Dover.
I didn't say it. It was a TV show. It was a TV show.
Oh, that's good.
It was funny.
You know those guys.
I wanted Nick, by the way, to say that he had a basketball hoop, and I'll be like, can you shoot better free throws than Ben Simmons? Because
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Ben Simmons is from Montverde, where Francisco Lindor went in Orlando.
Oh, he's down here.
Yeah. He went to Montverde here outside of Orlando. So.
You know,
I give him
Yeah.
credit, man, because he's in Florida right now. I mean, that's usually the ladies in Jersey. They don't want to leave Jersey. That's good. That's good for his wife. Took the leap. Which is, I'm not saying Florida's bad. I'm just saying usually they want to stay close to home and family and stuff. But he got her to go down there. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Well, lastly, Impractical Jokers, when I worked at MLB, they came there, but they were
Yes, they did.
exposed. Yeah, but I think it was Carlos Pena. He was like, "Oh, I know who you guys
at
are."
MLB, that was
Did you
funny.
hear about that though?
Where they had to do the push-ups?
Yeah, but then somebody knew him. And I think it was Carlos Pena. I got to text him, and he was like, "Aren't you the Impractical Jokers guys?" Because the whole thing is that they are kind of hidden, but
Got him.
I don't know. So they might have had to fake. I don't know. Something happened.
They've gotten so famous now they can't do as many things. So
Yeah.
it has to be a lot more like celebrity.
They
kind
should
of stuff.
disguise themselves. I think that's the move. Could
The
do
one
it.
guy left. The one guy left already.
Oh, I didn't know that. Borat disguises himself.
Joe left.
But some people do disguises to hide themselves. Cabanaro guy.
Yes, I like him.
Me too.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
Did you guys see what Ron Washington said? I love Wash, so I almost feel
This is
bad when we
rough,
talk
man.
about it.
I love rough. This is rough. I love
Yeah.
your wash, but this was, and then he clarified, but still.
Yeah, we're here to do everything, even if you love the guy. So he said we're going to get some baseball players who may not be superstars, but they know how to play. We forgot to bring real baseball players into the organization. Nothing against those guys here, but they're not big league baseball players, and they certainly can't help us win a championship. Next day, clarifies, he told that to the LA Times. Sam Blum, who covers the team so well for The Athletic, said that Wash told him, quote, "I misspoke. I didn't mean it the way it came out, where I'm saying the organization isn't giving me big league players. It's players that have to grow into big league players." I'm going to put a little side note here. Remember where he came from. He is going from the dominant Braves franchise with the World Series win and all the divisions.
He was also with Texas before that when they had their great run.
Yes.
Forget
Yeah.
that.
He has never been in a vibe and experience in an organization that is run this way from the tippy top. This
He
is
was in
very
Oakland?
different. Okay, going way back, right. But even still, I think you could make a case that
Yeah.
had more organization to it back then.
Yeah.
This is really tough. You look at his past 15 years, and then you look at what he has to deal with right now.
Ooh.
Dude, it's a different world. The Angels and the White Sox have a lot of similar vibes.
Did you watch him play? I mean, sweep, by the way, just sweep.
Yeah,
sweep those
swept
little
by the
Angels
Sox.
away.
Sox are better than the Angels.
No, but for 3 games they were.
They were.
Listen, I said that was 3 bad, awful games from everybody. The
That's
White
why
Sox
he
won
said
all
that.
3, but it was bad games. But here's the thing with Wash, it's tough because Wash is in a weird spot because he was brought in to help him develop these guys, but they're throwing kids like Shanaway a month out of college, right? Neto a month out of college. They're going to throw Christian Moore up there a month out of college. Those aren't big league ready players. That's what he was saying, and what he meant when he said they're not big league players. Yes. Did somebody get to him and say you need to retract these statements and change it? Of course, but what he was trying to say is they're not ready to be here. We're having to teach on the fly. And Todd, if you talk to any big league coach right now, their number one complaint is guys aren't ready, and we have to teach them at the big league level how to become major leaguers because because the internet, because MLB Network, because shows like this, we know prospects. Prospects. Oh, let's hurry up and get him here. They might not be ready, but he's here. All right, let's see what he's got.
Yeah,
And
and at the end of the day, these guys are coming up, trying to hit home runs. They don't know the fundamentals. They're getting in rundowns when they shouldn't. They don't know how to go first to third. They're getting back picked on plays. These are the things that the coaches down there need to instill on these younger players. Like, listen, it's not about wins and losses in the minors league. It's for these guys to be put in situations where when they get into the big leagues, they make the mistakes down there and then they come again. We're all human. Things are going to happen, but it's just been happening on the regular. Like, just be instinctual. Like, where are the instincts at? I think he's got a point, and I think the quote, he did get misquoted or he said it wrong. It's about the development, and I don't know what's going on. It's just trying to get by world down there for some teams, and that's just not how it should be.
Yeah, they're in a tough spot because at least when Ohtani was there, they were making a ton of money. Not that they're not making a ton now, but they're making less, right? And that is going to reflect on the way that they spend. They cut payroll quite a bit. I think they're going to continue to do that. So they're going to operate in LA market, according to them, right? They're the LA Angels, but they're going to operate, as a small market. That's tough.
Yeah,
My point is,
I hate that word. I hate it.
Yeah.
Yes,
I hate it
know.
when people say small market.
LA is really small. Not.
They're not in LA. They're in Anaheim. Damn
I know,
it.
but
I
they
hate
say
that.
they're
I hate
LA
that
market.
name, too.
They say they're LA market. That's what they
They're
say.
not.
They have
It's
every
Anaheim, it's
team
Orange
has
County.
billions of dollars, bro. How do you call yourself
agree.
small? I don't
Todd.
get that.
Todd, think about the last 2 days for the Angels. Shohei comes out and says he felt like he had to be the whole team.
Mhm.
And then the manager goes, oh, yeah, by the way, we don't have big league players here.
Yeah.
Like, that's a rough 2 days for the Angels.
It's really rough. It's tough. It's tough for them. I feel for them.
I do too, because there's good Angels fans. They boo the hell out of me, but they're still good fans.
They boo me now. They're angry.
Welcome
There's
to
a
the
lot
club,
of
Todd.
angry.
Scott.
Thank you. There's a lot of angry fans. So anyway, maybe it'll get better. But that's the thing is people were excited when Wash was coming over there. I was too, to see him back as a manager and hear from him more often. But he still was given the Angels. You know, he's not you can't make up for that level of dysfunction, you know, in terms of how they run, right? And it's the tippy top. You know, I like Perry Nation. It's not him. It's Artie. So it's tough for Wash right now. Anyway, let's do a quickie little break. And then Ken Rosenthal coming up. Any ball game. Hey, let's chat out Mint Mobile right now. So remember how yesterday we were talking about how you're not going to run sprints in the outfield just to try and get yourself a few extra bucks saved? So the one that they sent me was, I'm not going to crawl through a bed of hot coals just to save a few bucks. I'm like, I hope not. Jeez, that's really drastic.
No.
Yeah, it's got to be easy. No BS. Just you make the call to the old provider. You say it's not you, it's me, but really it's you. You hang up and then you call Mint Mobile and you get the job done. So
also, by the way, can we get Ryan Reynolds on here? Because he had to do his 100th commercial. I see Mint Mobile commercials on TV all the time. And Timmy's like, man, I never thought I'm doing 100 commercials.
Wow.
So can we get Ryan Reynolds to come on for one of these? Because this is at least our 100th day of Mint Mobile.
I listened to you yesterday and I have a call Monday to ask. I'm putting in the request.
Will he
Wish
play
me
Deadpool
luck.
when he comes on?
I think I'll do whatever he wants to talk about.
We can talk soccer. We can talk Wrexham.
I want to ask him about being an owner because I think
Yes.
that's something that we cover more than any other
He's an
baseball
owner of a
show.
soccer club.
He's an owner of a soccer club, like the passion versus the profit, all of that.
Yes,
So
they
I think
try to
it'd be
win too,
awesome.
which is amazing.
Yes, right, and they cover it obviously content wise too really well, right?
Yes,
because it's a show, the whole deal. So anyway, back to the provider that Ryan Reynolds loves, Mint Mobile. $15 a month with the purchase of a 3-month plan. To get this new customer offer for 3-month premium wireless for $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/territory. That's mintmobile.com/TERRITORY. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on their first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Hey, Fair Territory is every Monday and Thursday. You can catch Thursday's episode live, 12:30 Eastern, and it includes the great Alana Rizzo along with Ken Rosenthal. And yesterday's episode is still very fresh on our minds. We're going to add to yesterday's episode with some questions for Ken coming up, but they hit the managers on the hot seat, and they were all over the Mets-Braves postponements that lead to the potential Monday doubleheader. But let's hit the inside scoop. The Inside Scoop is powered by MLB Perfect Inning. Here is FT Senior Insider Ken Rosenthal with us right now. Ken, I actually wanted to jump right to the managers on the hot seat first, if we can, because I know you covered 10 managers, and in yesterday's Fair Territory, you hit a few of the, I would say, bigger names in Aaron Boone and Dave Roberts that are going to be in the playoffs, see how they perform, plus Skip Schumacher. Are there any others, I'll start with you, in between there that you'd like to point out that you think could be really interesting and maybe kind of unpredictable coming up this offseason that you wrote about?
Obviously, if I could predict it, then I'd have a better idea what was going on. I don't know that we can predict it, but I do know this. Every offseason, once the regular season ends, we have surprises, it seems to me. And last year, of course, was one of the bigger surprises in recent memory. That was the Craig Counsell hiring by the Cubs and the firing of David Ross. I don't know that anything like that is going to happen this year. One particular team I found interesting and find interesting is the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is a team where if you go back before the season to the article Stephen J. Nesbitt and I wrote about the Pirates, we quoted Bob Nutting in there as saying he expected the team to take a meaningful step forward and that he was pointing toward postseason contention this year. They're not there. They're going to finish with about the same number of wins as they did last year, and that's with Paul Skeens and even Jared Jones and a better team overall than they had last year. And yet, Ben Cherington, the president of baseball operations, has been very adamant and vocal about Derek Shelton coming back for 2025. And really, it doesn't seem that Shelton or Cherington is in jeopardy right now. But if Nutting chooses to act, then I would think he would wipe out everyone. And that would start with Cherington, and then they need a new president of baseball operations and a manager. Nutting is not the most proactive guy in the world. We have seen that. But I just go back to what he said before the season started, the expectations he had. And I just wonder how they're going to justify the status quo. And listen, Ben Cherington has done some really good things. Derek Shelton is a capable manager in a difficult spot, but they have not performed, and that's when these questions arise, when a team has not performed.
True. That's true. Do you know contract status of each of them? Ken, do you know Cherington and or Shelton's contract status?
AJ got me. Not off the top of my head. I believe Shelton has one more year, but I don't even want to speculate. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, because Bob Nutting's not going to fire anybody with time left on their contract.
Well, that's a great point. Yes.
So I mean, he won't even go $200,000 for Rowdy Tellez to get 4 more at bats or plate appearances. So you think he's going to whatever Shelton and Cherington's contract is? You think he's going to pay that? No chance.
Do they have any incentives in them? Those contracts?
If they have any incentives, though, they might be let go right before they hit them.
Yeah.
Like if Shelton goes like 160 more games, 159, he might get let. But that's a different story. All right, Ken, the Pirates, yes, they're definitely one. But here's what I want to ask you about. The Cardinals. I'm sure you saw Katie Woo's article in The Athletic today. Is Ollie Marmol in any trouble? Because I saw Chaim Bloom has taken a bigger part in the organization. Mozeliak, I think, is signed for 1 more year. And Ollie Marmol, I think, his contract matches him. So is there any
Marmol's through 26. Derek Shelton's contract, I looked it up just now, is the length has not been announced. So we don't know exactly where they are with that. Now, you want to talk about the Cardinals? Good topic. Katie wrote an amazing story today about where they are and the failures of their player development system. And Scott, I know you talk a lot about how on this show we talk about things that no one else talks about in the sport. Well, at The Athletic, we do things and write stories that no one else writes either. And this is one of them. It's one of our better ones. What Katie describes is an expanded role coming for Chaim Bloom, who was, of course, added as an advisor last offseason. He's not going to take over as president of baseball operations just yet, according to everything that we've heard. Mozeliak will take 1 more year. He has 1 more year to go and then step aside. He has publicly said that is going to be the case. Marmol is signed through 26. What the article focuses on is the changes that are going to come to their player development operation. They are short-staffed in player development, which is staggering to think about, that this is the St. Louis Cardinals, a team that has prided itself on player development going back to George Kissel, and then even when Jeff Luhnow rebuilt their system through analytics, incorporating analytics into their draft process, all of that. And yet, here is where the Cardinals are now. They've made some choices to spend more on Major League payroll than on the infrastructure for the farm system, and it has cost them. It has cost them dearly, and I advise everyone, even if you're not a Cardinals fan, you will find this article interesting because it discusses the way this team has kind of fallen. And it is shown on the field from a major league perspective in the last 2 years.
Let's not forget all the Red Sox who have one of the better farm systems, all their prospects, who are they drafted or signed by? Chaim Bloom. So
yes,
that's the thing about when Chaim Bloom was let go and they brought in Breslow. He did everything they wanted him to do. They didn't win at the big league level, but their whole point was we had Dombrowski. Let's throw him to the Phillies where he's terrible, right? Like, oh no. But they brought in Chaim Bloom because they wanted him to develop a farm system and develop people that could continuously fill it. Look at their roster. Cassis and all these guys, Anthony and all these guys that are coming.
Dude, they've got 4 big prospects.
Marcelo Meyer, right?
Yes.
These are all
Christian
Chaim Bloom
Campbell
guys, so he did exactly what they wanted.
Yes.
But whatever. That's neither here nor there.
AJ, you make a great point. I don't know that we need to relitigate the Chaim Bloom dismissal, but you're absolutely right. He did essentially follow their orders, and the mixed messages at the last 2 deadlines that he had or that he operated with, remember, they kind of were in a weird place and they weren't really buying, they weren't really selling. That too, I would attribute to ownership sending him mixed messages. But anyway, that's in the past. Looks like at some level he's going to get another chance. Katie Wu writes today that he is going to essentially be the guy in charge of restructuring their player development system, and we'll see where that goes.
I want to talk a little bit about teams now, other than the Cardinals or whatever it is. The Mets and the Braves. This is crazy what's going on here. This is why I talked yesterday about this is why I love baseball. I love when it comes down the wire. You can always look back at the season and be like, man, there's probably like 5 to 10 games where it's like we probably should have won, and you wouldn't be in this scenario. And that's life too as well. How do you see this playing out here in these next 3 days or 4 days? What do you think in
Todd,
your
it's
mind?
a great question, and don't forget the Diamondbacks. They're right in the middle of this thing
Yeah.
as well. I don't know how it's going to play out. In fact, what's really interesting to me about the way these teams are proceeding, the Mets and Braves anyway, they're kind of taking it one day at a time as far as who they are pitching. And it appears the Braves will not start Chris Sale, until they are on the verge of elimination. They're going with Max Fried tonight. The Mets are going with Sean Manaea against the Brewers. The Braves are facing the Royals. And this would have been Sale's turn. If you pitched him today, you would have had a chance to pitch him again in the wild card series. Who knows if that will happen now, if they get there. So it's going to be a really interesting few days. And I know we've all spent a lot of time in the last few days talking about the implications of the rainout, who's to blame, and all of that. This will be decided on the field one way or the other. And I made this point on my podcast yesterday, Fair Territory, and some fans took objection to it. But if you don't like being in this situation, you should have won more games in the start. And it's what you're saying, Todd. I don't mean to be cruel about it or, I don't know, insensitive, but my gosh, if you had won 5 more games down the line, you wouldn't be sitting here worrying about this particular situation that you're in, and you wouldn't have been in it in the first place. So we can always look back like that, of course, but this is where we are now, and it's going to be a very interesting weekend, to say the least.
I love Ken doing like the high school coach of, hey, you don't like it? Play better.
Play better.
Play better. I like that.
It, play better. That's
Hey,
the old
you're
baseball
right.
saying forever.
That's the whole thing. You can complain all you want, but you wouldn't have to be in this situation. And the crazy thing is, Ken, because I know you are into this stuff, and Jason Stark is the most probably over at The Athletic, we could have the scenario where the Mets don't care about Monday. So Mike Puma, who's been a longtime writer in New York, said they should sign Bartolo Colon to chuck 18 innings on Monday. I mean, think about it, though. Like for how the game, whatever you want to call it, ethics are, the Mets, it's not their problem that the schedule got all screwed up. And if they end up being in, but the Braves need to win, if I'm the Mets, I'm like, I'm preparing for the wild card. I don't care about these games.
Mm-hmm.
I'll lose 20-0 both games. That's not my problem.
And that's where the impact is felt by the Diamondbacks, potentially, if they are in the mix with the Braves under that scenario, right? Because if the Braves are not in position where the Mets are trying and they have an advantage there, then that would hurt seemingly the Diamondbacks' chances if the Diamondbacks are still in it, which you would think would be the case. I also wrote today about how this can have an effect on San Diego and Milwaukee if, and the word if is important here, if the commissioner decides that the games on Monday are only for seeding and they should not be played. If that's the case, you've got the Mets and Braves playing 2 fewer games than the Padres and Brewers. Their pitchers are not extended the same way, and They have a little bit of a beef at that point, I would say. The Padres and Brewers do because they've earned the home field advantage in the wild card round. And here they are. These two teams don't have to extend themselves the way they otherwise should have. Now, obviously, if those games are played, right? If they are played, yeah, the Mets and Braves will be at a severe disadvantage in the wild card round. But there could be a scenario if Manfred pulls the plug on Monday where, I don't know, I would say the Braves and Padres would have a beef.
Yeah, I'm rooting for chaos.
Yeah.
And this is a different kind of chaos, but I'm rooting for chaos. Okay, on that topic, we got a fan question about this, and it's a good point. I want to make sure I bring up this team, the Minnesota Twins. What just happened? And the fan question was about Rocco Baldelli / who is to blame with this epic collapse from a team that thought they were good going back to last offseason.
It is epic. Their playoff odds early September were something like 95%. It took a collapse for this to happen, for them to be on the verge of elimination. You see the standings right there. Dan Hayes from The Athletic has written about how this really goes back to last offseason when they didn't do much, the deadline when they didn't do much, and they were left in a position where down the stretch they had 3 rookie starters out of 5 due to partly the injury to Joe Ryan and a bunch of other young guys on the field where they really needed more than that. They had Correa and Buxton finally come back at the end, but it was almost too little too late. So they have to take a hard look at the way they've gone about it, in my opinion. I don't know that you can pin this on Rocco Baldelli. I don't know that you should pin this on Rocco Baldelli. At the same time, in that manager's column you referenced, Scott, I wrote about how Rocco is kind of a laid-back manager, and maybe he needs to become more assertive in the future because this team just did not fire when it needed to fire. There are a lot of reasons for that. The manager is but one of them. Reference the other day to what he seemed to indicate was a lack of urgency among some of their youngsters. Now, you can point to the manager with that, but you can also point to the players too. So it's an organizational-wide breakdown, as it always is when these things happen. And it's extremely disappointing if you're Minnesota. You're in a division where there's no runaway team. The Tigers have played great. The Royals have had a tremendous year. The Guardians, have played great as well. But it's not like you're dealing with the Yankees at the top or the Astros at the top. And here they are in that division, and they were unable to get it done. And that's kind of inexcusable.
Yeah, you're right. But let me ask you this, Ken. Who are your dorks of the week this week? Because I'm disappointed in you. I already know the answer, but who did you pick?
I picked the Pittsburgh Pirates for their treatment of Rowdy Tellez.
Okay, that's smart. But you know who you
You
should
have a problem with that?
I do. Well, no, you should have had 2, though. You should have had yourself. Because a couple weeks ago, you said, Tigers are cooked. Oh, they're done. They're the worst team in the history of baseball. the Illiches, they're not trying. And boom, here they are. They made the playoffs. So it should be you. So welcome to the 2-time
Well, first of all,
winner.
AJ, if you're paying any attention at all, in print and on my podcast, I have referenced that. I have done my mea culpas. I can't do them every week. Once is enough, if you ask me. Actually, I've done it multiple times. I apologize to the Mariners, too, who later fizzled. Yeah, I was wrong about the Tigers. A lot of people were wrong about the Tigers. I don't think I described them in quite the way you said it, but I did not expect that they would be on the verge of making the playoffs. I don't know that too many people did. And yeah, I said it. So for that, I own it. And I was Dork of the Week, I believe, last week for that. But only John Fisher gets multiple honors.
Oh, yeah.
Not me.
And me. I've got 2. So.
Dork of the Week is
You do have
presented
2,
by
AJ.
John Fisher.
What's that?
Sponsored by John Fisher.
Yes.
I mean,
All right.
he didn't pay for the sponsorship. Don't worry.
Now, Ken, before we let you go, I know you're in Milwaukee, and I know you're staying at the Pfister. So have you seen any ghosts? And if you do, and when you do see ghosts, are you going to talk to them, or are you going to hide in your bed with your covers over your head and put your blankie up?
First off, I am not at the Pfister. It's been a
Oh,
long
my
time
God.
since I stayed at the Pfister. I never had a problem with the Pfister Hotel. I never ducked from the ghosts or anything like that. And in fact, I enjoyed the Pfister. If I recall correctly, and it's been at least 20 years. Great burgers, man.
True.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Food.
yes.
Food
Hey,
good.
great
Burgers.
breakfast too. Good
Yeah.
pancake.
Food good. Rooms creepy.
And the bar at the top, I think it's called the Blue Bar on top, is really
Mhm.
very cool too.
But it's creepy rooms. It's
Yeah.
creepy
Depending on
rooms.
what side you're on.
Right. But
Yeah.
yeah, I remember my last day there, and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And I asked, I was like, I'll stay 10, 15 minutes further. It's just not for me.
I know where Ken's staying, and it's nice.
You can't say it.
It's
Can't
nice.
say
I'm
it.
not going to say it. That's why I
Yes.
said he was staying at the Pfister.
Exactly.
I know where he's staying, but it's a nice hotel.
Well, Ken, enjoy the game. Have a great broadcast with the Mets and the Brewers on Fox this weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. FT Senior Insider Ken Rosenthal with us for the Inside Scoop, which is powered by MLB Perfect Inning. You can scan the QR code and download MLB Perfect Inning 24. You can get the best baseball game in the palm of your hands. You can download it for free on your phone. All the latest from the 2024 season. It's awesome. So check it out.
Becoming a champion takes perfection. Perfect defense.
Seager gets there. My goodness.
Perfect base running.
Eager on the move. That was tremendous.
And my favorite, a perfect swing.
This one is history. Franchise-changing player.
Are you ready to become a champion? Make it perfect with MLB Perfect Inning 24.
Hey, we talked about this yesterday, but it looks like it's definitely happening. You see the Darren Ravel tweet about the the Ohtani baseball person?
It's gone up now.
Also, right.
Well, we
So,
mentioned this guy suing. Remember I said the suing, he got dismissed, though, the lawsuit.
oh, it did?
I think so.
Yeah, because they were trying to hold up the auction, and
Yeah, the auction's going now.
he's live tweeting the auction right now. So 2 more bids on the Ohtani ball, now up to $732K, 5th most valuable home run
I
ball.
wonder if one of those is Ipe.
Hey, Scott, I take it back from the other day. The Dodgers offered $300,000, so he's more than double his money right now.
Yeah. Good for him.
Todd didn't hear what I said, I don't think. Is that too soon?
What? No.
That one of those bids could be Ipe?
The translator,
baby.
the interpreter. Yeah, not too soon. Actually, his arraignment, is that what it is?
Yeah.
I've been following the story. Someone posted about it the other day. It got pushed back. I think it was supposed to be October, and he got it pushed back to December. I don't know how all
He
that
wants to
stuff
make
works.
it to the playoffs.
Why? So you can slam some bats.
He wants to watch the Dodgers. It's time for Dodger baseball. That's all
That's
I'm
messed
saying.
up. I mean, also, yeah.
It's an awful situation.
Yeah.
You got to be able to laugh about it at some point.
You do. You can't say
Do you?
too soon. It's
Do
been
you?
months. You
Do
know,
you have to laugh
usually
about it?
Yes. What
Yeah.
else you going to do?
it's not that
Oh,
part. It's the
God.
part. I mean, you stole many, many, many millions from your friends, so that's
That's bad.
that's not good.
No.
Oof.
Many millions.
Wow.
The story is wild. I mean, we covered it a lot.
Oh.
Hey, we covered the heck out of that story. I spoke to people throughout this season that said when I saw that story break, I went right to FT and fair territory, foul and fair, because they were like, I knew you guys were going to be all over it in a variety of ways, and there's not many places where you can find that. Like Ken said, The Athletic for sure, but for listening purposes and for answering follow-up questions and all of that, yeah, that was a kind of weird and unfortunate, but also shining moment.
$730,000 for a baseball. Todd, think about that. What do you do with it? You just put it on your wall and be like, I have enough money I got more dollars and cents to spend on
Oh yeah, that's somebody with that dude that has that FU money. It's like, you know what? I got so much, I might as well buy this. It'd be a cool piece to show my grandkids, kids. Bro, by the way, if you see the video, the guy was pinning that young man's arm down, so he might have a case.
They threw it out, I think.
And he came up. He's like, "What the heck, man?" I
Yeah,
think
that's crazy.
See that's when you hold my arm down. I go here with a left, real quick.
Yep.
You know what I mean? For the
That
ball,
kid's a young kid, though. He's like an 18-year-old kid.
I know,
He
it's
doesn't have
tough call. By the way, the Babe Ruth
I'm
jersey,
pinching nipples. I'm doing anything I could.
pinching nipples. Babe Ruth jersey, $24 million. That jersey. Did you see that, Babe Ruth?
Oh, yeah.
That's,
No one's touching that.
that's crazy. Coming down the stretch here, obviously we'll do playoff locks, but Thursday locks, Padres lost for me.
Yes, they did.
Baltimore with Burns pulling their starter a little bit
See,
early
this
to
is
save them
the
up.
tricky part. You don't know what they're doing behind scenes. You know, hey, you might pitch here. You're going to come in like Bregman the other day came out in the 4th inning. Like that changes everybody's.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying they would have won or lost from one player, but yeah, everything changes these last couple games.
It's tough to bet down the stretch. I'll say this for bettors this weekend. Think outside the box and almost do things that you wouldn't normally do because games get weird in the last weekend.
By the way, thank you, Andy Pajes, for hitting that 8th inning homer.
Yeah.
Over yesterday.
I saw that.
And the Twins for going 25 innings and not scoring. But they actually got the over early because 4-4. But Andy, I was sweating it. I actually stayed up and I was sweating that game. 5-2 in the 8th, bottom of the 8th. I'm like, they're not going to make it. And then whack, Andy. And then Joe Davis, Andy Pajes, puts the game away. And I was like, yes, he did.
Yep. Good call. All right, so you hit your plus 265. So you get to start today. What do you got?
He said think outside the box, so I'm thinking way outside the box here. I'm going big parlay. Minnesota money line over the Orioles. Why? Because the Orioles have cashed it in since, as we said, Burns only threw 5 innings. They took him out. And the Twins still have to win the game. Even though they're almost eliminated, they still have to win. They got their best pitcher going. Pablo Lopez, I'm taking him also over 5.5 Ks, which doesn't seem like a lot. But, the Orioles don't strike out a lot. But, again, they've cashed it in. And then last but not least, I'm doing a third leg. Sean Manaea over 6.5. Yes, I know who he's pitching against, but they do strike out a lot.
The Brewers.
The Brewers do strike out more than you think, and he's kind of found strikeouts. And I think he's going to have to go deep. Why? Because the Mets have to win, right? So he's going to be out there for a while. If he goes 7 innings, that's 7 strikeouts. Let's go, Sean. That gets me to plus 439. Todd, I'm coming for your ass.
You better go 500 to get that thing to reach me. Scott, I think I just looked. You and I have the same exact bet today. Same shirts, same bet. We're definitely hitting today.
I'm a protege. Yeah.
Mets money line. It's win or go home. Not really, but they got to win for sure. So I'm going Mets minus 115, 345 to win 300. We know Scott's putting $10 to win 3 on this one.
Oh, dude, I'm for the people. 115 to win a hundo. You want me to match you? Should I do the same thing? What are you doing?
Listen, we're almost done. It's almost the end of the year, brother.
I know, but I'm up 4 figures. If we lose tonight, it's gonna take a big hit to the little wallet, to the baby wallet.
The playoffs. You got the whole playoffs.
That's true. All right, so let's do it. What are you doing? 345 to win 300, Todd?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'm with you. I'll tell that. Let's go. Let's have a night. All right, big playoff game for the Mets, and then Pap is trying to recover. So we're just going to show his pick, and then we'll get Pap. I miss Pap. We're going to have Pap for some playoff
You know
time.
what? Good for Pap. Pap can't show his face on here again because Florida whooped Mississippi State's butt in football, and he's been colder. He's been colder than the Eskimo's booty. So you know what? He can't show his face till he wins.
He's got Minnesota money line like you, and
which now I want to change my bet.
And then he's got KC too. He's got the Royals and the Twins with dubs. All right. Am I allowed to say what's going on?
No, I wouldn't say that.
All right. Okay. I'm going to skip that. All right. So we'll hear from Pap in the future. We'll let him describe whatever's going on for him right now in his travel experience.
What's happening?
I agree. Hey, Grand Slam jackpot promotion still running. I heard word on the street is that'll run in the playoffs too in a unique way, but we'll see. Bet for a shot at $50,000 in bonus bets by placing a $10 or more wager on any player to hit a home run on a weekend day, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And if that player hits a grand slam, you can win the $50,000 daily prize in bonus bets or a share of the prize with every other winning better. And Tigers fans, you're having a time right now. So exclusively available on the BetMGM app in Michigan only is the Tigers Lucky Tap instant win game. You can play as a Detroit Tiger, swing the bat, get some prizes. Okay, you tap the screen, the player swings, and if the player misses, you lose the bet. If the player makes contact, you win a reward depending on which cash targets are hit. Gambling problem or concern? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Be right back on FT. We'll have a little time for slap hands. All right, so we'll do this one during a break here. I mean, not much to say. Should we just skip it? I mean, I'll just say the news,
bring it up,
just to document, just to keep everyone posted on what's going on.
I know, but it's such an awful thing.
Yeah, Wander Franco, former franchise player for the Rays. I'm saying former for a reason. Will stand trial on charges that he sexually abused a minor following a judge's ruling Thursday in the Dominican Republic. So that case continues. And we continue to reiterate that the chances of him playing Major League Baseball again, slim. And also at this point, even thinking about that, like, who cares? You know,
Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm allergic to this crap too. So
someone that has a 19-year-old daughter, just even
it's awful.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's really hard.
It's something you don't even want to think about. You don't wish on anybody to have this be your child.
It's a terrible case.
And then some of the, I mean, if you read into the article and some of the things where the family was like, I don't even want to say it out loud.
It's a mess. You can read it though. I mean, we just showed the article, so Google it.
I don't know if you want to, but you can read it.
Yeah, it's disturbing. I mean, the dude is likely going to jail and definitely not going to pop up in the big.
I mean, if this is true,
he's
deserve to go to jail.
Exactly. He's in trouble. So anyway, it is what it is. But that is the update on a player who had a very, very bright future in our sport, and forget it. All right, FT fam, be right back in a minute to slap. Last FT of the regular season. Now, Monday, I guess technically could be the regular season still, but last Friday. So we're heading down the stretch here. So I was looking at matchups for the weekend because this happens over the course of a month or two at the end of the year. You can start to eliminate games that you watch. Like, oh, I don't have to watch this game. I don't have to watch that game. So, for example, tonight, I mean, there's really 3 games, right?
Well,
which I like. You get to lock in.
Are the 3.
Exactly. So you've got the Braves taking on the Royals. And sure, I mean, you could make the case. You want to see what the seeding looks like with the Royals and the Tigers. Okay. But you've got the Max Fried, Brady Singer matchup in Atlanta for Royals Braves. And then you have the Diamondbacks hosting the Padres with Darvish matching up against Merrill Kelly. But keeping in mind that the Padres are going to chill. Like, there's no way the Diamondbacks get swept by the Padres this weekend.
2005.
It's a talented team.
Listen, 2005, we clinched.
Yeah.
And then we had to play the Indians at the time, the Guardians now. And they had to win one game to get into the postseason. We would have had to play them. We swept them. Red Sox got in instead, won the wild card 2005. And we played, as Bruce Levine, the famous ESPN guy, said, we all heard him on the phone. What's the lineup look like? They're playing the scrubs today.
You won.
And we swept them.
Did you guys, they sat
That was when
you?
Ozzie did the mascot.
Did they sit you guys?
I mean, we played a little bit. Like, the day after the first game, we just sat. And I think the second game, and then we played, like, a spring training game the third game. Like, where you got, like, an at-bat or something.
Got it. Okay.
But, no, we smoked them. For 3 straight games. Smoked them.
Did you feel like...
We were playing for the scrubs, man. The scrubs showed out. Bruce,
Yeah.
thanks for this great quote. The scrubs.
So that quote hit, and you're like,
we
yo,
heard him.
let's go.
He thought he was in the – if you ever been to Cleveland, they have, like, these little steps. Todd, you know. You go down the steps, and then he was on his little cell phone. And he's like, you know, he's doing his little hit from there. Oh, what's the lineup? He's like, they're not playing anybody. They're playing all the scrubs.
You guys heard him.
And we heard him.
Let's go.
And the boys got fired up.
Wow.
Scrubs? We're like, what scrubs? Show you scrubs.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah. Good. It was good.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll see. I mean, then that's Arizona's situation. And then lastly, Todd Father, like we talked about, you got the Mets and the Brewers tonight. It's Sean Manaea, who's been money. against Frankie Montas
Frankie
for the
Montas
Brewers.
pitched good though for the Brewers. Now.
Yep.
He's got his ups and downs there.
But they're set though. They're seeding, so that's where you kind of look at it. So the Mets have to win. The Brewers don't have to do anything. So
Exactly. But they could same thing, have a good time and be spoilers. You know, chances Mets sweep the series probably pretty low based on the talent level for the Brewers this year, but it's going to be good. But you got 3 games that you lock in on. Everything else, don't care.
True.
I'm locking in on those games. Well, I'll be at the Rutgers Blackouts game tonight, so I'll be watching on my phone for sure.
Oh, you got a little foosball tonight?
Yeah, but I'm fired up. I'm ready to rock. But I will be locked in on the Mets because I love to see both New York teams in the playoffs, man. Come on. You know, that's me being biased, of course, but it is spectacular to see that. And then you got LA on the other side and whoever else, you know, hopefully they figure it out.
Do we know the pitching for the rest of the weekend? Like, you know, Gallen's not pitching for the Diamondbacks unless he's on short rest for any of those games.
I think they finished with Erod and Montgomery.
Those are the last 2.
I mean, they're TBD, but that's the order.
Okay.
Or Fott, who struggled his last time out.
All of them.
By the way,
struggling.
who's Rutgers playing this weekend?
We got Washington coming in tonight.
That huge little 11 matchup up there, Washington Rutgers.
It's a big one, brother. It's going to be absolutely bomb. It's not like the SEC. I'll be honest, but when this place packs out, it's Scotty. Tell them how crazy it gets up there.
Not just that, but you know where my heart is. Football, cool. Rutgers basketball is my favorite. Might be my favorite sports experience.
You know who's in Orlando playing on Saturday?
Who?
Prime time.
Oh, right. You told me this.
Colorado's playing UCF this weekend.
Am I going to have traffic?
Nice.
You're going to have major traffic problem. Big noons here for Fox. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to go, but then I got a better offer, so I said I had to change my mind.
You got a better
offer
for what to do?
When my friend calls me and says, hey, I got the PJ gassed up. We're going to the Hamptons to play golf.
Oh, that's what you're doing.
It's a
You're going back to the hometown?
I'm going back to the homeland.
Going back to see the folks?
Oh, yeah.
All your old friends?
Yep. Aunts, uncles, cousins.
Billy Bob, Sue, all your favorites in the Hamptons? You have an aunt too?
Married to Uncle Warren.
You're coming up here?
A little bit classier than Tom's River.
On a weekend in the summer, if you want to go from Tom's River to the Hamptons, you're much better off taking a plane to LA. You'll get there way quicker.
By the way, do we have before we go? Vicente Padilla's birthday today, so it's shocking he came up.
Of course.
And then also John Garland's birthday. So
have a great weekend. Enjoy the games. We'll talk Monday, FT fam.